One thing I've not talked about in relation to reading novels in a foreign languages is how they deal with conversations. I don't know about other languages, but Romance languages certainly don't do the same as we do in English, although you will find some books that follow more closely the English usage. The first thing is that they often don't use quotation marks. You might see a simple dash at the beginning of some speech, or the double chevron symbol, which is actually called guillemets. If it's dashes that indicate the actual speech, guillemets might be used for reported speech or for thoughts, the same as you might see double and single quotes used in English. The second thing you might see is that there's sometimes no indication when the speech ends. You might assume that it's at the end of the paragraph, but that may not be the case. The third thing you might see is that dialogue tags like he said, she said, can just be indicated by a comma either side, within a block of text. This can make it even more confusing until you get used to it. The fourth thing is that if you have narrative before the speech might be introduced by a colon. This is easy enough to deal with, it makes it more obvious. Now I have to say that reading in Italian, I've never had much of a problem with any of this. Everything has seemed pretty clear. But reading in French, I've been getting quite confused. I didn't know if this was because my Italian is just much better than my French at this stage, or whether there was something subtle being done that was different. So I took a proper look at some books. This first one is in Italian, Io non ho paura. On this first page you can see that the text is introduced by dashes. Here's another page where you have speech indicated by a dash, then another dash to introduce the narrative. So this does, in effect, have open and closing marks when needed. Here's another book, Cronache del Mondo Emerso, and this one actually uses the guillemets to enclose the speech, much in the same way as we do. So that's pretty clear. And I already know, before going to the French book sample I have, why the Italian had seemed clearer. But let's look anyway. Here's a page from Les Choses qui Sauvent, which I'll be talking about next week, where you can see dashes introduce the text. Then there's a tag with no indication at all. What makes it more difficult is the spacing of the punctuation, which is not butted up against the text. For me, this just adds to the confusion. And here's a page where the guillemets are used to enclose text, once again with lots of space, which I believe to be internal thoughts, but sometimes I'm sure this is used for reported speech as well. I think the Italian is actually quite a bit clearer in the way it's displayed in these books, so it's not just my understanding. Of course, there are lots of different styles of display depending on the publishing house, or if it's an independent publisher, so I might just have been unlucky with this French novel. Others may prove to be a lot clearer. So, the difficulties of reading dialogue in novels. Just something to be aware of.